Hey everyone, it's Thursday, November 12th. Have you seen anything good? I'm hoping somebody will join me. Logan Jackson watched a bunch of stuff. Uh, Justin Hall keeps talking about stuff in the Discord. Come on in and talk, or just leave some comments. I can put them up on the screen. All right. Get at me. Mark.
That's my boy. Hey, I got Fargo on TV for you if you want.
What do you got? Fargo on TV?
Yeah.
I don't know. Hopefully,
that movie's so bright though; it's just like a big white spot.
Well, I don't want the Facebook people to crack down on me.
You talking movies or some shit?
Well, I was trying really hard to kind of keep the festivalness of the festival going.
Yeah.
I set up a Discord so people can. Wow, what you drinking?
The festival, man. I got some honey jack because I'm a little
nice. I set up a Discord so people can chat anytime. There's a filmmakers lounge. I set up this Q&A schedule, hoping people would interact in a live fashion. And I don't know, a couple days before the festival, someone said, hey, you should do like an open chat every night. People can talk about what they watched. And, basically almost none of it's been working. I mean, they're there. They're great. But it's interesting. Go ahead.
You got a lot of you're able to see all the numbers and everything, right? You got a lot of people signed up? Or?
I mean, no, not really. It picked up after the election was called.
Yeah.
But I'm still not super happy with it. I think that my in-person audience has not made the transfer over to digital space. Yeah. Well, I mean, sales are relatively bad, but I really don't trust their viewership numbers because I've been using it to view things, and their viewership numbers, which give you like a number who started it and a number of how many minutes they watched, and that has not been moving. I mean, these things can't be right. People, unless everyone is just, even the people that bought individual tickets, unless they're just waiting until this weekend to watch something, like I can see, 10 people bought tickets to this movie, but it says, and then it says 16 people started playing it, but it says it's only been watched for 76 minutes, which is, I think, less than one. I think it's longer than 76 minutes. Yeah, it is. It is. It's actually 2 hours. So I don't think that 10 people bought tickets and then didn't. I mean, again, maybe they're going to watch it this weekend. Maybe they bought tickets early. I don't know, but
yeah, I wonder how accurate that is.
Yeah, well, probably not enough. Film festival directors are always talking about how filmmakers have this like Vimeo number that Vimeo show them, and they're like, no one watched my movie, and like, we watched your movie. Like,
there's so many filmmakers that had to talk off ledges because of that.
I mean, most everyone I know, the whole point is to try and find new and interesting people. Of course, we watched your goddamn movie. I don't what I mean?
I gotta say, like, at the beginning of getting in the festivals and that whole, when you could do that with Vimeo at the beginning, when I was just the filmmaker, I was getting pissed off. But then I started working for a film festival and seeing what's really going on. and you're right. Like, it's, chill out, man.
Mark, I've never talked to you or even looked up what you did before a band called Death. And what festival are you working for?
I'm working for the Chattanooga Film Festival in Tennessee.
Sweet. Did you have anything to do with the Wanting Mayor playing there, or did you talk to those people? Or
I mean, no credit to me for any of that. That was pretty much all the movies there. Chris Dortch, who runs the festival, he's like the director, and I think a select few of programmers pick it all out. But he's the one that primarily like picks the movies. I'm just on the board. I'm always the one with everyone else saying yay or nay to things. I joined it because when a band called Death did its thing, I played at a lot of film festivals all over the world. And there's really I even won an award at South by Southwest, and that's one of my least favorite film festivals.
Really, that's so funny because that's really one of, well, I don't have any experience with the festival,
Yeah.
but if you keep a scorecard of a festival and like a win-loss tie record, I think they're the best as far as that's concerned.
What I mean, I had a weird situation with them because, I mean, I only know my own personal experience, but you know, we submitted it. How much time do you have? Are we on a clock here?
Dude, I got nothing going on, man. I don't know. I mean, I certainly have stuff I should do, but
All right.
feel kind of tired or whatever. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to get up and do anything for 10 minutes.
All right. I was gonna say because sometimes I can.
Of course, the idea was to talk about my festival, but no. Talk about all the other festivals.
Well, I mean, you know, the reason why I joined Chattanooga was, you know, I've been to all these festivals and I came away from the experience saying to myself, I have these guidelines for what makes a perfect festival for the filmmaker, you know, and I really only had. I could count on my hand the festivals I thought were great festivals that I would recommend filmmakers to go to, like festivals that treated the filmmakers like they were wanted, that, you know, that they were loved and cared for, and there really weren't that many out of over, you know, Jesus Christ. The Band Called Death played from 2012 to last year, so you know that so many festivals, and part of that reason was because it was a music doc, so it played at a lot of music festivals that ended up, you know, adding film sections to their festivals. So that's why that film played for so long. But I had these guidelines, and Chattanooga, like, they were definitely one of the ones that felt like family, the way they treated me and the other filmmakers, and I always liked them, but there were some things that they started doing to try to be like the bigger boys, like Fantastic Fest. They really wanted to be Fantastic Fest at one point, and I wasn't liking where they were going, and the opportunity came up. Like, I moved to the South and they said, do you want to be on the board? And I said, sure. You know, as long as I can add some input and let you guys know as a filmmaker what I don't like. You know, I don't like the star fucking of Elijah Wood every year. You know, like, I get it, he's Elijah Wood, but you guys spend way too much time making it about him and not the filmmakers, you know. And so they fixed that, you know, because of my input. And
is he from there? Why Elijah Wood?
Why did he start? He went there first for A Girl Walks Home at Night, and it just became a thing for like 3 years. He liked it so much. He loved the fest. You know, the fest is a really fun fest. It's done like a mini Fantastic Fest. It's very genre heavy, but it also has other movies too. But they have tons of fun things like eating contests and you know, music shows, and for filmmakers they have little excursions. You know, you go out and you go visit places. Again, all the things I check off on my list for, like, this is a great festival for filmmakers. But Elijah, like, he started becoming just like this guy that would come every year, and it just, the crowds would crowd around him and not pay attention to the filmmakers that were there to show their movies. And I didn't like that, and I let him know. You know, we have kind of our mascot, who's Joe Bob Briggs. He comes every year, but he's not like that. You know, he's in and out, does his thing, and then he leaves. He doesn't make it all about him. You know, Elijah at one point was talking about moving there. I was like, oh my God, I hope he doesn't move here. that little hobbit's in my movie, you know, A Band Called Death.
Hey, Mark, I got something to share with you. I thought of you the other day. Because yesterday was my dad's birthday.
Oh, cool.
And so there was a picture shared on his Facebook, and it made me think of you because my dad was in a band.
That's awesome, dude. That's a great shit.
My dad was in the White House band.
No way. Holy
my dad played taps and revelry and shit at the White House.
Wow.
Which is why I was born in Washington, D.C., which is the only place in the country without a county designation.
Huh.
But yeah, it made me think.
So cool.
I know you probably didn't have much to do with the website, but I always connected to you, you know.
Yeah, no, that's really awesome, dude.
My dad was in a band.
You know what's funny about that? I love I can talk about all this shit.
I might just delete this, by the way, when we're done. I mean, there's like people watching. You're talking shit about movie stars. We're talking about other filmmakers. The one person who's watching live might really dig this, but yeah, this might not be archive worthy.
My dad was in the band. Was created by I can't remember the kid's name anymore. He was the kid that found a band called Death at the Los Angeles Film Festival. Evan Husney. He came up with the idea to create that website. It was a really great idea.
I loved it. It was great. He just played at the White House. Actually, he went to the University of Iowa. Before I was born, and he's a trumpet player. Both my parents were music majors in college, but he would wind up. He had a college band, and they would open up for a lot of the horn bands that would tour through. I don't know if they opened for Chicago or they opened for the big one they always talk about is this band called Chase, which I think they opened. They were like a small hit in the 70s, but they were a horn-based rock band, and he had a horn-based rock band, which honestly I haven't heard before. I should have gotten on that, but anyway.
Hey, I got a question. What you got a raccoon?
I do. Yes.
I used to have a pet raccoon when I grew up. My dad had it in Vermont.
Yeah.
Her name was Camille.
Camille?
Camille.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
In Vermont we have a lot of raccoons. Obviously, it's woods up there everywhere. But
it was in the house raccoon.
It would go through the cat door and eat with the cats, and then sit on my lap, and I would pet it. And she was the coolest animal. I have a little doll Camille somewhere, in honor of her. But typical human fashion, one of the neighbors saw Camille in her trash bin and shot her and killed her.
We haven't really let ours get out of the house. I don't know what we'll do. She's been kind of a nuisance. I hear that from 6 months to 2 years, they're fairly unbearable. And then, first off, we read the average lifespan of a raccoon is 2 years.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
But that's in the wild.
Yeah.
In a house, they're talking 20, 30 years.
Wow.
So at the 2-year mark, supposedly also, they really, slow down. They really calm down. Because she won't sit in my lap. Well, she did supposedly just sit in my girlfriend's lap last night, maybe. So that was what I was going to do after this, is go in. We have an enclosed. I know this sounds so silly. We have a chicken coop enclosure inside the pool house of our house that she stays in. And so she sat down in it last night, and she came. If she can run around, she's not going to chill with you. She's going to go run around or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Camille was really old, I think, so that might be why she was so chill. And she had babies and everything, and
cool.
But definitely she was an old maid. But yeah, I love raccoons. It's part of the reason why those fucking Guardians of the Galaxy movies connect with me so well. It has the mom dies of cancer. All right, there you go. That's me. And then it's got a little, not pet raccoon, but a raccoon who's a hero.
I made a post a while ago. It's hard to see what the Facebook algorithm shows people, but I made a post a while ago that somebody, I don't know if it's the comic book people or the movie people, really did their research on Rocket. Because, now that I had one, now that I have a raccoon around, I see all the things that are so accurate in the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, James Gunn had live raccoons, or a live raccoon on set, and I think he used that a lot to try to mimic. So that's really cool.
It took me a while. I didn't notice it right away, but after a few months, there was one day where there was a couple things where, first off, the way they jump, the way he jumps from place to place really quickly. That's what she does. the shoulder riding is crazy because that's one of Rocket's favorite plays. Her name's Rocket, but it's IT. It's both Rocket Raccoon and Herbie Hancock, like an homage to like both of them because of Rockit. I was like, it's boring to call her Rocket, but let's at least work this thing into here. Most of your animals are named after movie stuff. My dog's name is Buster after Buster Keaton. We got a Chucky that's Charlie Chaplin. We got we had Bela Lugosi. She just died recently.
Oh, I had two cats that I got Jen back in 2011. One of them died, but they were brother and sister, and they were named Miles and Maisie. You know what movie that's from?
Maisie and what is it?
It's Uncle Buck. This is Miles and Maisie, the two kids.
But the one that really hit me with the Rocket and how accurate it is in the movie.
Yeah.
There was one day she would not give up trying to take something, and it was something she couldn't use. I think it was my glasses or a pencil, and it really just reminded me of that part at the end of the first one where he's like, what if somebody has something that I want? What if I want it more than them? And it's like, yeah. And then the stealing the body parts kind of gets, the way they just, they
like
just steal stuff.
Little bit of ferret in them, like ferrets like to grab things.
Well, we have two ferrets also.
Oh, cool. Man, it's like a zoo over there.
It is a little bit. They're named after Mae West and Marilyn Monroe.
Nice.
Bunnies, we had Bogey and Bacall. They both passed away. We lost a lot of animals this year. It's pretty sad. We had ducks earlier this year, but we lost those. We moved a year ago to 20 acres out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So we got ducks and I tried to keep them caged and stuff. I think 3 of them flew off, but I think 2 of them got eaten, by something out here. But we're talking we might get some otters out, some outside otters.
Man, that'd be so cool. Yeah, I posted something about states that it's legal in. Is that your state?
I don't know, but we weren't there. They would be outside, not inside.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So we're kind of close to the Mississippi, and apparently sometimes they're pulling otters out of the Mississippi, and so we could rehome them. We have a pretty decent sized lake here, as well as there's a 6-horse stable right next to the lake that they could kind of have some water and have some, have an enclosure to kind of be safe in also. So I guess a lot of times they try to rehab them from pulling them out of the Mississippi River. And so we're on some lists. They may call us someday and say, yeah, do you want some outdoor otters or something? Is that me?
I heard it.
Did you get a chance to watch any of my movies, or are you just busy watching the Coen Brothers?
I've been watching Fargo nonstop for some reason. I got this weird, like if I watch a movie, I've seen it a billion times, but all of a sudden I'm watching, I'm like, man, I love this movie so much. And anytime it's on TV, like commercial TV, I'll just keep watching it. I don't care.
I can't handle the commercials, man. So you're...
Oh, it's hard. I mean, they legit, like, that scene with the 2 customers at the car dealership, and he's like, "You're a fucking liar."
Oh, near the end, not the undercoat in the beginning.
No, at the beginning, the undercoat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're a fucking liar. It's like you'd imagine on commercial television, if they're gonna dub that, it would be freaking, right?
Yeah.
You're a freaking liar. Like it's natural. Instead, they did freezing. Like what?
Well, Fargo.
You're a freezing liar. What? Who the fuck says that?
Have you seen the censored Big Lebowski?
No. Oh my god, I got to see that. Is that like 5 minutes?
Well, no, it's for language.
Oh my god.
This is what happens when you find a stranger in the Alps.
Oh, you got to see that. Oh yeah, no, I love it.
Good stuff. You should seriously. watch. I gave you a pass, right? Did I give you a pass?
Yeah.
You should check out Death of a Rock Star, man. I think you might dig that.
Which one is that? The animated?
Yeah,
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Man.
It's funny. I was gonna watch that like 2 or 3 days ago, and then something derailed it. It might have been Fargo. Something derailed it. But yeah, no, I definitely want to check that. So wait, when's the fest end?
Monday.
Oh, this Monday? Okay,
Monday.
Cool.
And again, I might just delete this, so this might be a waste, but I really liked what you said about festivals. It's always tough when you have this physical festival and I can't really pay to bring people out.
Mm-hmm.
So my filmmaker interaction is relatively low. And to me, this was a great opportunity to do everything just like exactly what you said, which was like, this is the way it should be done. And now I can do that.
Yeah.
I set up the Discord for people. I'm really doing these Q&As. Nobody's watching the Q&As live, although they are getting a lot of hits after the fact as a day or two goes by. But I just keep, everybody seems to say that they're having a great time doing them, and they'll be up and archived forever. A lot of films I've looked and there are not other Q&As up there. Mm-hmm. Like festivals are doing Q&As, but not. They're keeping them behind paywalls, and they're not archiving them anywhere. And I feel like that's a real waste.
Yeah.
I mean, they should be up there. It's a moment in time to be. I mean, especially. I don't know. It's just weird. I just have this definite idea of like this is the way things should be done, and so I'm just doing that.
Yeah, totally. I've only experienced the Chattanooga and the Frightening Ass Film Festival, which is a spin-off of the Chattanooga Film Festival. It's a horror one that happens in October.
I think somebody I've got played there. Frightening Ass?
Yeah, FAF. FAFF.
I bought a pass to Chattanooga, honestly, and all I had time to do was check out that Wanting Mayor, and I didn't get a chance to touch anything else. I think I watched a short also.
The Wanting Mayor was this year? Man, I thought that was this whole year just flew right by. I thought I've only seen ours, but I was impressed with the way they did the Chattanooga one. Frightening Ass was a different crew of people. It wasn't as elaborate, I guess, but it's a smaller fest, so I didn't expect it to be.
Yeah, I just didn't have time. I had so much of my own stuff to do. The festival was, I was juggling. I programmed for Nashville also.
Oh, wow.
So I was juggling 2 different programs and Q&As over there. They did all their Q&As early, which was cool because then once it started, I was done.
Yeah.
I had nothing else to do. When the festival, instead of the festival started, I'm running around like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
The festival started, and then I was done. No, I didn't. God, what? I swear I watched a short here too. Although I've seen some of these. A Common Error. I played at a Common Era. I programmed it.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one. I love that. That's a good short. The computer one, right?
Yeah. It reminds me of this. There's a Facebook group that's like, share this with Jim. Ha ha ha. La Serena. I programmed at both. Nashville and Lake County this year, and
that was the one that was very Spielbergian.
Yeah, especially because there's a kid. Yeah, no, I could see that. Well, except Spielberg would probably actually make the sci-fi, right? It has a sense of magical realism where you're not kind of so sure. I'm gonna take your Spielbergian and say Tim Burtonian. Tim
Burton, yeah. Okay.
Tim Burton, I guess, right? Because it's got that magical real. Like Spielberg would just make it all out sci-fi or whatever. And
I think that film won Best Short too at our fest. I think. It's crazy that I even remember that. My memory is usually pretty shit.
He's a good filmmaker. We had I did something. He made a really good doc the year before, and then he also had a doc I programmed at Nashville this year too. So he's had 3 movies in 2 years that I've programmed all over.
Cool.
Where's the award winners?
Are they not listed anywhere?
I'm checking the press right now. Celebrating the best of Chattanooga.
I really liked the interactivity that we did. We teamed up with Microsoft and a couple other local production teams in Atlanta, and no, it all worked pretty good. It was it felt like by the end of it, I was like, wow, this felt like going to a film festival. And there was like chat rooms, where people could chat with each other, like is that Discord, and so
was it on Discord?
I think so. I could be wrong on it's trying to remember everything we did, but it no matter what, the entire weekend of the festival, I was talking to people and through, like watching the movies, and then we talk, and it felt like I was at the festival. It was kind of cool.
That's cool. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for on our. Yeah, I don't know. It just hasn't been that way. I think the biggest problem was the election, honestly.
Oh yeah, I know. I was thinking that when your fest started, I was like, shit, man, it's right on election day. There's only one thing on people's minds right now. We don't have to say what that one thing is, but
I scheduled it a year before.
He's causing me to do this.
I scheduled it a year before, and I wasn't thinking about the election. I was thinking about the Chicago International Film Festival caused me a lot of problems last year. Like wanting to get some films, and they were waiting for the rejection and blah blah blah. So I said, okay, I'm just going to make it the weekend after Chicago International Film Festival. Maybe I can piggyback a little bit on people being in the mood. And I didn't really think about the election, but I was going to be starting the Thursday, a couple days after the election. I was like, all right, it'll be okay as long as he doesn't win. At least people be done. But how would I have thought that 4 or 5 days later we'd still be not having a winner? And who would have thought? I should have pushed it back maybe.
Yeah, no.
Once the virus hit, I should have pushed it back. I wouldn't have wanted to because of Thanksgiving, but most people probably aren't going to go somewhere for Thanksgiving now.
Well, yeah, I mean, in Chicago, aren't they trying to get everybody to not go anywhere? Or are they doing a big? It's bad out there. Dude, I tell you, man, I was just out shopping the other day, and everybody's out, eating at restaurants. It's jam packed. No one's wearing masks. They're going to gyms and barber shops. It's just a mess out here.
Are you like in a hickey area, or are you outside? You're pretty far outside of.
So I grew up in Long Island, New York, and where I am.
Did you say that I called it Hicksville?
No, well, yeah, kind of, but Hicksville.
It's a generic term, but I always think of it because of Hicksville on Long Island, which is where some of my family lived for a while.
Yeah, I mean, where I live is Long Island. Like, it's 100% what I grew up in. There's a lot of diversity here. There aren't Hicks. I don't really see any rednecks. I just see, a couple of Trump people here and there.
I was going to say, except for when you look in the mirror, but
yeah, me. But I like it. It's a relief from where I was living in Vermont, which is just all white people. I tell you, that stuff gets old. Especially after you make a movie like A Band Called Death.
Well, they moved to Vermont. What's that about? Why did you wind up going to Vermont?
Dude, Detroit got so bad in the 70s. They were like, fuck this. They got as far away.
Vermont.
They moved to Vermont. It's not in the movie, really, I don't think. They had a relative who was part of a cult. And he was like part of a religious cult that he had in Vermont, and he convinced them to move there, and they lived with him for a couple of days, and were like, this is fucking weird, man. We got to get out of here. So they just ended up moving to an apartment somewhere in Vermont, in Burlington, and they fell in love with it because Burlington, Vermont has a really great music scene. It's always had one. It's kind of like Portland, you know, like it's kind of like that kind of a scene, and Austin. Like, it's very small compared to those, but you know, great punk rock scene. It's where Phish came from. It's where Grace Potter, you know, came from. And so they went there and tried doing the Christian rock band. That didn't do well in Vermont with, you know, the kind of people that were around there. And then they made a reggae band. And of course, you know, it's Vermont. Talking about 60% hippies up there. So the reggae thing was a hit. And they actually started making enough money that they didn't have to work day jobs as that band. And they created a festival called the Reggae Fest, which is pretty big up there now. And then, you know, over the years, they got older and that kind of slowed down. They started getting day jobs again. And that's pretty much how they ended up there. They just never left. They fell in love with it. And I can't blame them, man. I'm in love with Vermont. I want to move back, but it's too expensive. It's too expensive, and career-wise, there's nothing for me up there. There's no work. I mean, I have friends, and I got a friend that's got a whole grip company up there. So if I ever wanted to just make a movie, I got free gear whenever I want. But I don't know, it wasn't enough for me. After touring with a band called Death from like 2012 to last year, you start like getting to this whole filmmaker talk. Like, you could only talk filmmaker talk to people, and nobody in Vermont I realized I could connect with anymore. I was talking filmmaker talk or film festival talk, and they didn't know what the hell I was talking about, and I didn't like it. And so I was like, I gotta move somewhere where there's a lot more people doing what I do. And also, you know, a film brought me here. So
are you that's the Accelerator, right?
No, Accelerator was the last film I produced before I left Vermont. That was kind of my swan song. That was a David Giancola movie. If anybody's a fan of Time Chasers, which has been parodied on Mystery Science Theater 3000, it's that filmmaker. That was a nice little way to leave Vermont, just producing a feature film. You know, we had Sean Young in it, and I got the poster here actually. What is his name? Sam J. Jones, who was Flash Gordon. He's in it.
There's a doc about him now, isn't there?
Yes, and our film is mentioned in it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and those filmmakers, they came to Chattanooga actually, and so did Sam. That was fun.
What film brought you to Atlanta?
I can't talk about it in public, but
is it a doc or a narrative?
It's a doc.
Okay.
I've been wanting to get out of the docs because narrative was my original goal, but the doc thing happened because I got writer's block when my mom died, and documentaries kind of became a way for me to still, make art and not have to write it. Even though I think there's writing in documentaries, it's just in the editing room.
And you don't have to be as much on a timetable.
Yeah, I mean, both. I say both docs, but I really made 4 documentaries in total. The 2 others no one's ever going to see. They never got finished, or one got finished, but the 2 that
a rapper, right?
Yeah, there's one about a limbless rapper who was born with no arms or legs, and that was we got great footage there. Those kids were hanging out with Wu-Tang Clan and Rakim and Chuck D, and their story was awesome. You know, each one had a tragic event. Tragic. The kid that was born without arms or legs, I mean, that's his, life that he's having to live with and cope with. And then you have this other kid, his partner, whose mother was burned alive and murdered by her boyfriend, who was actually in prison down here in Georgia, which is kind of weird. But both these kids had these things that they had to deal with in life, and they chose hip hop music to deal with it. And it was a really sweet story. I never felt like I got the ending I wanted, and they became pains in my butt towards the end. They just, they ended up breaking up as a group, and it became hard to communicate with them. And I kind of, gave up on it. Unfortunately, I would have liked to finish that one, but
I saw some of it. I don't remember. Yeah, you sent me a link at some point.
Yeah, I have a trailer. I got a trailer for it on my Vimeo page, and then I have, and I think on my Vimeo page, all you gotta do is go to www.markcovino.com. But what was I talking about with that film? I think I might have sent you the trailer and a scene that I cut, because I didn't really cut anything else other than a really awesome scene at a cemetery and a trailer, and I think that was about it. But I have 400 hours of footage for that, just sitting on hard drives that are almost all of my hard drives have crashed.
Wow.
And that was 4 years of my life, $25,000 that I had left of my mom's insurance money. So that all went to nothing. And then a band called Death fell in my lap, and I spent 4 years on that. And I didn't necessarily spend money on that. Jeff was spending more money out of his credit cards, but my co-director, Jeff. But I was working a lot for free, and I was working more than Jeff because Jeff was working a 9 to 5, and I have no life. So I just, I was like, I'll just fucking film, everything we need to film, and I,
you do the work, and he pays the bills.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much. It was a great partnership, and I was helping him because he had never made a doc. I was giving him some pointers on framing and interview questions and vice versa. We made a really great team on that, and I wouldn't have been able to do it without him. But that killed us too, because that was 4 years and I wasn't making money at all, just working for free and using my own gear. And Jeff was having marital issues. He ended up getting a divorce partly because of the film. So, the whole thing was very stressful on us. And
I did that too.
Oh, you did? Yeah, that sucks.
The day after I finished filming my feature film, which my wife at the time wrote, the day after we finished, she told me she wanted a divorce.
Yeah. Yeah, it sucks, man. It's not easy to go through. Yeah. Jeff had 2 kids too.
Oof. I lucked out in that aspect, I think.
But no, I know. Me too. I don't have any kids. I got a cat. but yeah, wasn't easy. And then the Crest it was just a weird situation because it was we raised money through Kickstarter. We got $30,000, and that wasn't enough. And then we raised money the old-fashioned way. We never raised money for any of the films I made before, by the way. We just paid credit cards. But I was like, this time I'm not spending any money of my own. Like, we got to raise it if we're going to do it. My friend that wanted me to do it, and so Kickstarter, old-fashioned way of just talking to rich people. And then eventually I knew that my friend that asked me to help him make the doc, his dad's a millionaire, and I knew we were going to end up using his money. I didn't want to, because it's about their family, and I don't like that. I want to keep that separate from the storytelling. And it wasn't like he was forcing me to tell the story he wanted. He let me do what I wanted to do, and it's my film. But yeah, I mean, they kind of pieced together through all of that, and no one was getting paid again, which is annoying. I hate it. Like the film I moved to Georgia for, we're paying people, including myself for a change, if we ever get the money. But yeah, it's been a long 20 years.
Finding some work out there?
Not really. I have one company that's local who they'll hire me occasionally for camera work. And then my friend in Vermont still hires me for editing gigs, but it's been pretty sucky. I moved here for a film. I thought the film was going to be ready to go into production as soon as I landed. I bought a house for it. It's just, I really did a whole life move for this one movie, and none of it worked the way I had wanted it to, and I've just kind of been in limbo, and it's been a emotional, draining. Like, I've lost a lot of passion for just making movies in general, and
I've seen a lot of it on your feed, man. I mean, I've seen it. It's a horrible fucking business, It's just a horrible business, but
I just feel like you get so punished as an artist these days. Neither of my films have made me any money. And I put 4 years each into those, But it's the people that didn't put 4 years in that are making the money.
I mean, and it's such a shame too because seriously, a band called Death. I mean, I've seen a band called Death so many times. It's one of the greatest documentaries, music documentaries. It's just so up there. I mean, I've watched it so many times.
And for me, like what really sucks the most has been my emotional roller coaster of hating the film sometimes, and then finding the appreciation and being proud of it. It comes and goes. It sucks. I hate it. I hate whenever I get angry at my movie and I'm like, I fucking hate this movie. I wish I never made it. Because it's not true. I'm so happy we made that film, and I'm happy for what it did. But this business,
the myth is supposed to be that you do something like that and you pour everything into it and it does amazingly, and then somebody hires you to do something else.
That's what I thought. I thought even, with this movie moving here, I thought with A Band Called Death and this movie, at least I'll get some directing gigs here. But all the directors are hiring from LA. Like they don't care about any locals here. And I don't have an agent or a manager. I always thought I was going to get one from A Band Called Death. And it was my fault. I didn't go and just seek it out. I thought it was going to come to me, and I was stupid. I thought it was going to come to me because I went to festivals and I saw filmmakers have that experience. And I was like, okay, so that's going to happen to me. That filmmaker made this film here, and you disappeared.
Oh, am I here? You're all right? Am I there?
Yeah, there's like, I don't see your image, but I see a little, like it's loading.
Oh, well, maybe it's recording it. I don't know. I have shitty internet,
All right. I hear you though.
I'm in the where I've got, I've got a dish on a pole, that does a point-to-point internet. It's like, we don't get fiber out here, Can you still hear me? Can you still hear me? Maybe it's you. It looks like you froze. All right. Well, as much as it was great talking with Mark, I'm going to close it up. And no one was really watching. And no audience has really come in. So have a nice evening, and I'll see you again tomorrow.